Divine masculine.
Yes. What we're operating on today is the divine masculine.
What is that?
God is male.
Oh, okay.
God is male. And everything after that is male. So we're literally in a man's world. We're following the concept and the meaning of the divine masculine.
Yes.
The man is the lead. The man was given something when he comes into this world. He was given a mandate. He was he has authority. He's the
somehow I
priest.
believe that.
He's the because you're operating in the divine masculine. So for you, it's natural.
Because
Yeah, it's natural. It's normal.
Yes.
It's natural. But like everything else, there's duality. There cannot be a masculine without the feminine.
Oh yeah, sure.
There can't be a god without a goddess. Both of them have to exist. If you have to believe in the concept of a god, then you cannot not believe in the concept of a goddess.
But we normally look at it as long as there's a devil, there's a Satan.
Yes. And so usually we think that the opposite of a god is a Satan. No, the opposite of a god is a goddess. There needs to be a goddess. But obviously these things, as with religion,
the opposite of Satan.
There is no opposite. Satan is a made-up concept. In fact, Satan in religion, you see, Satan in religion was something that came later. When you look at the scholars, the Bible scholars, the concept of Satan was added later on in scholarship work and in theology. Something that did not exist. Because you are everything. You see, if I want, right now we can say you're a righteous man. But off camera, you told me you have daughters, and I'm thinking, the day you hear a man has touched any of your daughters inappropriately, that's when they see the devil in you.
They will say.
They will see the devil in you,
yeah.
And even you will not be aware that devil exists in you. You might think you might think right now, serikali kuja mshika huyu mtu tunampeleka ndani until you are left for 2 hours with that person. Tunafanya tumwangalie, we're able to recognize the person. Tutakuwa able to recognize, and that's not you. That's coming from you, right? So that's why the God is in you and the devil is also in you. You choose. You choose who you want to become. And there are people who choose to be gods and the people who choose to be demons. And it's all voluntarily, right? So because you're operating in the divine masculine, everything, and that is why it is so normal. You know, for you men, it is so normal. You're born in that mini that you don't even have to think about it. You can never hear a man talk about the divine masculine. Why would you talk about the divine masculine when the order is that of the divine masculine? You don't have to look for it.
Yeah,
you don't have to connect to your father. Yeah. You're already born knowing God is my father.
Yes.
But Sasa, for us, we have to be taught to be like connect to the goddess. Even when I say this, connect to the divine mother, people are like, huh?
Yeah, but
that's weird.
Yes, I'm not
that's kind of weird. So you see, when you connect to the divine masculine, you own the world, because now you have a divine energy that is working in your favor. You're tapping into that all the time, right? Anyway, besides it, so when we talk about now the divine feminine, it's doing, grounding yourself and knowing that you're supported. I was saying this to the ladies. If today I have a problem, I'm a daddy's girl. Like me and my mom used to have a very bad relationship. Frenemies. We were frenemies. But nowadays, I speak to my mom more than I speak to my dad. And not because and I speak to my mom more because now I'm a woman, and if I have issues with men, I can speak to my mom and my mom will be like, yes. If I have issues, fertility issues, I can speak to my mother. Nitakupeleka mahali usiseme. Nitakupeleka mahali kuna mama fulani anafanyanga hizi vitu, atakupatia dawa ukunywe. You see, my mom knows that, my father does not. If I have something in my in my privates, I can have that conversation with my mom and she'll know exactly what that is. Ama ataniambia kuja niangalie.
Anaweza fungua.
I can do that with my mom because my mom understands. So even as women, that's why as women, when we have our own issues as women, we don't go to God the Father, we go to the goddess. Because you see, back in culture, goddesses existed. And when goddesses existed, they were the ones that were tasked. Even when we were talking about Asherah was the one who was the goddess that was next to either Yahweh or Elohim. And they were tasked with wisdom and also fertility of the land and of human beings when it comes to having children. And agriculture, it was left to the goddesses. That's why they were called the goddesses of creation, actually. It was the goddesses of creation, the mothers of fertility. But this obviously has been. It took me a while to read into Egyptian work. That is why we had Isis in Egypt. Reading those things to come and understand where those came from, and Asherah. I had to read a lot about Asherah in the Israelites community, and how she was. You see, the Israelites had the poles of Asherah erected, and I think it's the book of Deuteronomy, where now as they are moving from polytheism to henotheism. So the Israelites moved from polytheism to henotheism, then to monotheism. So polytheism was the worship of many gods. They had Baal, yada yada yada. Then henotheism is when they moved now to worship of one god, but acknowledgement of many gods. So that is where now.
So they acknowledge there are many gods, but they worship only that one.
The only one god. Okay. And then now they went into monotheism, which is now one god, no other gods had to be destroyed. All other gods had to be destroyed. But there's a place where now they're asking for the priests now, as they're moving, they're graduating, they ask for the destruction of the Asherah. The Asherah poles have to be taken down. They have to be removed. So the goddesses now, that is how the feminine is scrapped from religion, and most people are not aware of it. Even as we speak about these things, people think it's conspiracy. What are then tuna force issues? Tuna force goddesses zikuwe. Nika tuna force issues. Nika tuna force issues. You see, because it has already been they were scrapped. Yeah. And it's in the book of Deuteronomy, by the way. When you read the book of Deuteronomy, they ask for the removal of those poles, the poles of Asherah and the other gods, because of that graduation and the evolution of religion, and as systems are moving across. But even as you look at us as Africans, in our African cultures, most cultures were very matrilineal. From an evolutionary standpoint, kids were usually identified by their mothers, because the mother is the one who is known. The mother is the one who is, you're guaranteed of who your mother is, but you're not guaranteed to know who your father is.
So you mean the surname took from the mother?
Yes, and even the surnames, they came later on as we moved into the agrarian. You see, now when we moved into the agrarian, there was now conquest, there was land, people are taking land. If I just give you a brief history, I think maybe I've talked about this before. When we were hunter-gatherers, in the savannah, where they call the savannah, this is years. There was no monogamy. You see, monogamy is a concept that you are trying to. Monogamy inatukulisha kichwa. It's not natural. If people have to be taught something, then you don't have to be taught how to be a man. You wake up every day and you just know, hey, I'm a man. There's no way I'm a man, I'm a woman. Right? It's natural. I don't have to be taught. Unless I feel some type of way where people say they feel different. But I move, it's natural to me. I do things, I speak, it's natural. But anything that has to be cemented into my head and pumped into my head, then definitely doesn't come natural. That's why they say, human beings are monogamish. They are not monogamous, meaning that they can be monogamous, but they were not created, they were not designed to be monogamous, right? So when we started off back in the day, when there were very, very, very few people and very few communities, people used to live in communities of 15 to 50 people. 15 to 50 people in small communities. Small communities. So that time,
small extended family.
So and then back in the day, you see, there was no idea of science. They didn't have any understanding of science. So the women have always been built for that hypergamy thing, which is survival of the fittest. You want to take the man with the highest for survival of
strongest.
Yes. You want for the strongest, because for the offspring. It is evolutionary inside of us. So because the women did not understand biology, they thought, we are on my abs, okay. This one is a smith. So if I sleep with this one, mtoto wangu atatoka akiwa na abs. This one is a smith, is a very good smith, atatoka akiwa very good smith. Then this one is tall, so atatoka akiwa pia mrefu. So they didn't know that ukipata ball ni one sperm ni hivyo. Nikiona na huyu sasa tunatoka kwa na all of these things. Hapo ndio ni mmoja kisha looking So the women obviously used to, so they used to they just used to sleep around like that and have kids. But as people were expanding out of the savannah, going to different lands, right, and they are moving, and then there was the invention of fire, because the invention of fire was the biggest technology ever, because back in the days they just used to eat fruits. They can't cook meat, they can't warm themselves, so that's why they were very hairy and whatnot, because they had to adapt to make themselves warm. They can't kill animals, they don't have fire to meat and make meats and the rest of it. So as technology is advancing, and now they've made fire, now they can go and hunt, they can make things, they can make spears to go and hunt. So the men would go out, and even the women would go out, the young girls would go out and hunt and yada yada. But when a woman falls pregnant, she has to stay home.
She has to stay home.
She has to stay in the house. She has to stay in the homestead.
To have a bed rest for the rest of
the 9 months or maybe 8 months, or when the pregnancy. So someone has to take care of her. Someone has to take care of her. And now this is where the rudimentary concept of marriage arises. So the man is like, but tufanye hivi. Mimi, I'll be going to hunt and bring food. You stay and take care of the kids, but now you're mine. Stop sleeping with Tony, Mike, and Jeff. So you're now mine. So me, I will take care of you and the kids that you've already had. So I go hunt, bring food for you, and this homestead.
So for him, he doesn't know whether the kid is his or not. It
so as it's starting out, it doesn't matter. But then it's like, now me penda Nangami, and I just want to take care of Nangami and her everything. So obviously, then it advances like that. Then as time goes by, unakaa unasema wapi mimi ni hunter mnoma, naweza manage Nangami na nani yaka. Sasa mimi nimekuwa nataka Nangami na yaka lena kuhunt na kuja, and I provide for the two of them. So that is where provision and protection comes from. The concept of men who are providers and protectors. So now you protect me and my kids, you protect Nadiaka and her kids, and you provide for us. So that's us, we can just stay in the home, pande tunjugu, nini, as you go to.
But as you are at home, you're also preparing.
Yes. So now this is how now things that women started becoming now.
And then it mutates now.
Yes, territorial. Now men became territorial over. Other kitambo tu walikuwa nakulana tu. Alafu mtu mwingine anakaa anasema mimi sitaki mimi nataka bado niendelee ku, and then like sawa wewe shinda hapo.
Sasa wewe unajaribu kumwambia ati boss wewe usifanye hizi kuja kwa wangu badala kukulewa na watu wengine kuja tu kwetu wangu. Kuja
alafu tukikata. Sasa yake kata sana kula. Sasa wengine pia maybe wako tu jaro hao pia wako tu stories hawataki story yao wamepata mtu wao wenye anataka ku provide and protect, you see. So as society, and you see, this is not something that's happening in 1 year, it's something that's happening over years. So it's mutating, it's morphing, it's growing, it's improving. And now that's when we enter the agrarian revolution. Now when we enter the agrarian revolution, okay, not agrarian, but at least now people start farming and the rest of it. Now men become the owners of the production, factor of production, which is land. So because men own land,
you'll just have to take that.
This is hot resort.
Yeah, so I think that one can cure you in
2 seconds. Because now men own land, now wameanza kupata saa tubuzi, tu kondo, tu ng'ombe. Someone needs to inherit. Now men were leaving those inheritance to their sons now, right? So that is how now the concept of surnames. I was bringing you to the concept of surnames. So that's how the concept of surnames now begin. But now as it regards to now handing down property, so that nijue, huyu aliachiwa na Wafula ameachia Wekesa aliachia nani, so it's able to be traced. That's why now we start calling it even ancestral land. But it's not as simplistic as I'm putting it, but that's just to give you a rundown of how now it became. But for the longest time, people were very much identified by their mothers because of what I told you now, because you would know who my mother is. You're not so sure who my father is. You could not be so sure who my father is. That's why most societies, in fact, most Bantu societies were matrilineal. Most Bantu societies, and the best community in Kenya that has the matrilineal, obviously, we know, it's the Kikuyu. because even their ancestral clans are named after the girls. Because Mumbi and Gikuyu only had girls, so their clans are named after the ladies.
John J.
And you see, it's because of religious indoctrination that has had us do that. Because you see, with the Kikuyu, they were able to figure out factor-ways in which they can mitigate all problems. So if someone was raped, umerepiwa usiku, watu wamekushika, wamekurape, umepata ball, who do you name that child after?
If you're the marital union, then see.
If you're not, it's a girl who has been raped. See, watoto 15. That's what I'm saying. The Kikuyus had to factor out so many things. There are kids whose fathers have rejected them completely. Mimi usiniletee mtoto hapa. Mimi nilikupea mimba wewe. Mimi nilikupea mimba. So unakumbuka tulikuwa vijana mlikuwa mnaruka mimba tu juzi. Kijana anasema mimi sijawahi lala na Nangami, hata mimi sijui.
Wanaruka hata saa hii.
Wanaruka alafu unaenda home, mzee anasema ni aje, kijana ameruka, ni sawa. The community still mitigates and says sawa, because for them a child can still be accepted into the matrilineal ancestry.
And defend like even those ladies inherit land.
Yes.
Yeah, which don't happen in some.
Exactly, and also it's because of how their society is built. So that means that if you have been rejected by your father, the mother's line their ancestry can accept you. You see, the thing about surnames, and that is why I'm even very keen. I even said this to my own son. Giving your child a surname is not just about you giving their name. It's you accepting them into the realm of their ancestors. Like, for me, as someone who venerates my ancestors, my son has been introduced to my ancestors. Like, in an official way. Like, uchawi niko nayo. They know. My son knows. Like my son knows, even if he goes anywhere part of the world, and even if his father doesn't accept him, my people are with him. And I made it known, presented him to them and said, he is one of ours. And he is one of our own, and he carries the blood. So everywhere he goes, he carries the bloodline. And let those who protect the bloodline, let the energy that protects the bloodline go with him. And I've done this as a mother. And you see, this is not just about giving your children surnames. It's about knowing them that they have been accepted into your lineage. That if anything happens to them, if anything happens to you, they are not alone.
Yeah.
They have things, they have people who are in the physical and in the spirit who are with them. So for the Kikuyus, it's also the same thing. If a father has rejected a son, has rejected a child, then that child is not destitute, like an identity. Then we, the mother's line, we give him an identity. And I, the mother, still, because their ancestry is also female, I can still bless you. Okay. And you see, that is African culture. That is balanced. The African culture haina hierarchy ati lazima ikuwe hivi, ati baba asipokubariki ni hivyo, mama asipokubariki ni hivyo. It can be reversed. There are things that can be reversed. There are things that can be undone and redone.
Okay. So now there is other matters that I also want you to tell us about.
Okay.
You mentioned somewhere that there are women who will never have at close range a rich. Never have at close range a rich man.
Yes.
And maybe they are confusing somebody who is less broke. Yeah, for a rich man.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, tell us.
It's a very interesting topic.
Yes.
Because you see, the concept of rich is people, as someone who's done finance, someone who can pay bills usually is called a rich man.
Am I a rich man?
I need to see your books. I can only confirm.
If they organize you.
Yes, I need to see your books. If I see your books, then I can tell whether you. Because you see, the term rich is not just a word that came up.
Yes.
You see, as someone who's done finance, the term rich is something that is quantifiable.
Okay.
It's something that you can quantify.
It's okay, you can still on that.
Oh, there's a carpet.
I
Yes.
felt like maybe you wanted to remove your shoes or something.
Yes. So the rich is quantifiable, right? In a capitalistic world that we live in, because we live in a capitalistic society. So people didn't just wake up and say, "Oh, I am wealthy. This is a wealthy man. This is a rich man. This is a poor man." That is why you remember back in the day we were told that the people who were living below $1 a day, and that was categorized as poor because there was a cap to it. You're living below $1 a day.
They're poor.
Yes, then that's why if you're living below $1 a day, then you're poor. So there was a cap to it. And someone who's rich, basically someone who has a net worth of 100 million to 1 billion. Then someone who has 1 billion and above, that's a wealthy man. That's why you can realize wealth. That's what was, but I was with a wealthy man, my friend. You've never seen a wealthy man with your eyes like this.
Yes.
At least maybe you have seen them pass.
Yes, you've seen them on TV.
Yes. But
social
but meeting them though, and you see, so yeah, I do understand where usually it's coming from with women, and I think it comes from the conditioning, because of the conditioning that we have. Women have been made to believe that they are less than men when it comes to making money. So women always think that, oh, let me look for someone who can make money. I've always said, I don't want a rich man. I want my money to come directly through me. I don't want a proxy. I want to God to bless me with a rich man. Make me the rich man. Hey, no, give me all my money. Give me all my cards. I want all the money, and I think it's coming from that mindset, which I think is long overdue. Where people, because when you look at life, right? You went to school. And in that school, I don't think, especially in primary school, I'm not so sure, but I don't think in primary school you were in a boys' school alone, or you were in a school where you had girls in the same class. So, primary. Unless kama ulienda zile za seminaries. So that means that you were given the same opportunities.
Sure.
At life.
You're
given the same opportunities. You went to the same schools.
Yes.
Kulikuwa na girls kwa darasa. And kulikuwa na madema tu wanakuwa number 1, number 2, number 3, top 10. Unapata kuna wasichana. Unakuwa huko, si ndio? Mimi nilikuwa top 3. Hiyo nayo si uongo. Nilikuwa. So I used to do better than most boys in my class, right? Primary school, then I went to a national school in case. It's a bit. I went to a national school. And then I went to university, right? And all through, even when I went to a national school, much as it was a girls' school only, there were national schools that also had boys only. So many national schools, girls only, so many national schools, boys only. Then we met at the university. Tukafanya finance. Class yetu ilikuwa imejaa madem na machali. So I don't know why when we come out of this life, we think that men have more capacity to make money than we do.
Well, by the way, women are not so gentle when it comes to pursuing some of these things.
Yes. So that means that men do not have a higher capacity to make money than women. So I have never understood why a woman is looking for a rich man. You're just looking for someone who's less broke than you, or more. Just that's it. Especially if you come from the same social class, you'll just realize it's the same thing. Like even for me right now, if I tell you I want a man who you can spend on me, it's not that he's making more than I am. It's just that I'm just saying that I hope he's generous enough to do a few things, to buy me flowers.
Is it sweeter when you are consuming money from a man than when you are? Because I think some women even feel so painful to pay their own rent in the house they live in.
In the house they live in.
Yes.
I think it's because of the conditioning that we come from society, where all these things that we have put up, that you see, everyone wants to get something for nothing. So the same way a man wants to get a woman for sex for the cheap, that's the same thing a woman wants to get a man from. Like, if I can give you my schmecks, you have to give me money, you have to pay my rent, and you have to do all of these things, right? Because I think those things are only limited to people who are married. You see, if you're married and you people are living together, you're sharing a life, then, like, come to think of it, let's think of it this way. Let's just try to reason without, we are trying to deconstruct the religion, we're trying to deconstruct the patriarchy. Right now, I'm an unmarried woman, and I start dating you, and the most you're benefiting from me, to be honest, is the sex. Right? I don't live with you. So I'm not cooking for you every day. I'm not carrying your children. I'm not raising your children. I'm not coming home to do homeworks, to wash clothes. socks to crying babies, right? So the thing that we are doing is sex most of the time, and then we go out on your budget. You're paying out those trips, you fuel the car, pay for the trip, pay for the everything, right? It's gentleman, it's a gentleman thing to do. But so what qualifies me to ask rent from you? Because you're coming to spend in my house. So what if you decide to be taking an Airbnb? You say, okay, I'm not paying your rent. Every time I want to fuck, we look for every time I want us to anytime you want us to have a good time, look, I will pay for hotel. I will pay for any Airbnb. They're married men who will never take you to their houses because there's someone there. So vis-a-vis them doing that, what do they decide to do?
Take you to some
Airbnb out of town, or yes, that's because they are paying for the transaction. It's a transaction, right? It's a transaction. I want the sex, then I'm going to pay for it, right? So these transactions that we are having, they're just that. They're just transactions. So there are people who are coming in with expectation that, oh, you should do this and you should do that. But when you look at the transaction that you're getting, you see, that's what I'm saying. A wife, for me, this is my thought process. For me, a wife qualifies to have all of that compared to a girlfriend. And a boyfriend does not qualify to have the things that a husband gets, which is now me. Where I'm a boyfriend. Why am I listening to nilifutwa kazi nini? I'm here with the good times.
Negative energy.
Yes, where you vitu sasa unafanya sana wife. Unakuja unambia manze kumekuwa kugumu leo, sasa hapo anakuambia sijali daddy. Unajua hii maisha inakuanga hivyo. And comfort, that's her role. And then for you is to make her life easier. Right? So it's a quid pro quo. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's why when these things don't make sense, then people part ways. Right? But now when you look at it in the context of a relationship, it's too demanding, and it's just, by and large, it's just people who don't want to be responsible. Now, is it okay to receive a man's money? And it's sweet. It is when someone is doing things for you. But I don't think most men are capable of doing it long term. Let me say, I want to say this to you: women are liars. Women are liars. Women lie. Someone will buy them a rose once, and they'll be talking about, my boyfriend buys me roses. It was once.
Yeah, sometimes they
exaggerate.
Yeah.
Exaggerate. Someone paid rent 2 times. Now they're like, I want a man who'll be paying my rent. My ex-boyfriend used to pay my rent.
Yes.
He paid twice. Because you see, the society in which we live, let me break it down to you. Let's use mathematics. There's no, unless you're a businessman, there are very few men in this country who are paid $500,000 Kenyan shillings.
Very few.
Very few. Now that's managerial, that's senior level. This man earns $500,000 Kenyan shillings. Kwa hii $500,000, and this is me being generous. Kwa hii $500,000, the man has to live. A man who is earning $500,000 in this Nairobi, I doubt they're living in a 20,000 shillings. Yes, tuanze na serikali kwanza. Serikali pate yake. I doubt if that man is living in a house worth 20,000 shillings. At the very least 80. And someone who was living in Kileleshwa before, 80 gets you I think, because 1 bedrooms are usually 65 to 75. 1 bedroom in Kileleshwa, Lavington. So most of the time, 120, 130 gets you a 2 bedroom. Yes, 120, 130 gives you a 2 bed, because most of the time the 3 beds 150, 180.
We suggest some decent compound.
Yes, I mean, very nice. Yes, modern, but open kitchen planning. You know. Okay. Yes. So let's say rent is 100,000. Now this man obviously has a car. That's to fuel. And if it's on insurance, obviously it's on insurance. Premiums. And sometimes it's also on a loan. So it has to be paid. Now this man has his own black tax.
Yeah.
He has his own black tax. He has father, mother, sister, uncle, auntie, grandmother. He has his own black tax he needs to pay.
Yeah.
And then this man also, the man who earns 500,000 Kenya shillings, is not your typical Joroge. This is a man who is flashy. He wants a nice shoe, he wants a nice shirt, he wants to get some. All of us have vanity that we like. So he has maybe wants to get a new watch, you know, kona statement. He wants to get a nice shoe, kashuka kona statement, you know. So how much has he left to spend with you as a woman?
50,000.
How much has he left? Yes, to spend on you and every single month.
That guy is broke.
Is broke. And to match the tier top. So you see how unrealistic it is. That's what I'm telling you. Women lie. So when someone rent, it has to be this. It has to be these small girls who are being paid rent only 10,000, 15,000. Maybe a grown woman like today, I know for sure a man who's earning 500,000 cannot pay my rent. Because chances are my rent is equal to his rent.
Yeah.
So the moment he pays my rent, he's already broke. And consistently, unless it is once. And one thing I know, me as someone who's making money.
That once me might video me a soft loan somewhere.
So it's
more problems.
And then as someone who's well read, I have some money somewhere that hiyo pesa ikishukanga tu hivi sina do naanza panic. Hiyo pesa inafaa ikae hapo kwa MMF. Ama ikae mahali nikijua tu ikishuka tu 2 million mimi sina do. Ikishuka 1 million mimi sina do. Ikishuka 500,000 mimi niko broke sina do. And there are so many men who are moving like that. Nobody's going to as someone who has done finance and I sit among wealthy men, nobody's going to break their bank, their savings. You're not supposed to do that. Break their savings for someone else's emergency. Unless an emergency, someone is deathbed, someone is sick.
Yeah, sometimes you look at collateral.
Exactly. So which man is going to break their MMF? Akona MMF, akona investment mahali. Huyo mtu mwenye tumesema ana 500,000 by day, pia akona investment zake, anataka buy land, anataka buy 1, 2, 3 things. Akona ambitions zake. So tell me, how much money is that? That is why the people who say he pays my rent, it has to be some paltry amount of money, which means he's a broke girl.
Yeah.
And that means it's a broke girl who's looking at someone who's less broke than them and thinking that this person is rich. But now when you've done the mathematics, it's not rich. That man is not rich. When you have done the hiyo pesa yenye amebakisha analipa rent 100, akona insurance, akona loan, akona what's it called? Black tax. Nowadays you wake up tomorrow, someone is dead. You wake up tomorrow, sijui sickness. They need 2 million immediately. You know, you have to send money. You need to have some. Now squeeze watu wajuangi nangami kuna 5k hapo nisaidie, kuna 6k hapo nitumie, kuna katao sijui nini.
Yeah.
You know.
The word we were telling them that bana mimi pia niko.
See. Mtu asielewa.
Wewe actually.
Huwezi kosa.
Anyewa marafiki.
Be
mindful of your friends.
Exactly.
Some friends, yeah.
So when people say that he pays my bills, I want a man who can pay my bills and do this. I just know that they have no concept. They have no understanding of that. Like you really, unless, because the only man who's going to come through for me like that has to be someone who's thinking of marrying me.